Alright everybody, I'm going to go ahead and show you my Rograkh, son of Rohgahh, an Ardenn Intrepid Archaeologist Commander deck. It's going to be a pretty aggro Voltron style deck where the goal is going to be to get him equipped with tons of equipment, and Ardenn's job in life is to get them auto-equipped onto Rograkh so you can get through and do tons of commander damage. Alright, and if you're interested, I'm going to go ahead and leave the full deck list. It's going to be a link to my MTG Goldfish. I'm going to go ahead and leave that in the description so you can check that out. Alright, without further ado, let's go ahead and dig into this. First thing I want to show you actually with this is a really cool infinite combo with Enduring Renewal and Goblin Bombardment. Now the goal of the deck isn't necessarily to get these out, but if you happen to get them, and it's likely that you can, the game's over. With Enduring Renewal, Rograkh's going to return to play. Well, he returns to your hand, you return him to play. Go ahead and resack it with the Goblin Bombardment and keep on doing it. So if you can get this out, the game's over. Alright, just a couple of utilities, quick utility enchantments. You got Smothering Tithe. If you got it, you should play it. This card is pretty much an auto-include, and anything with white is going to give you tons of mana. Then you got Ghostly Prison. Ghostly Prison, since you're relying mostly on Rograkh to do most of your damage here, Ghostly Prison helps keep people off your back. Keep your opponents off your back. Alright, going to go ahead and move into the auras. There are not as many auras as there are equipment in this deck, but the ones that are here, very helpful. All that glitters, +1/+1 for each artifact or enchantment you have. You've got 30 artifacts and 10 enchantments in the deck, I believe, so there's a lot of potential power behind that one. Gift of Immortality just makes Rograkh very hard to deal with. This is a very hard card to deal with, so it's a great include. Benevolent Blessing, it gives protection from a color, but what makes it great is that it has flash, so you can play that as an instant. And then you have Spirit Mantle and Unquestioned Authority, both giving protection from creatures, which not only protects Rograkh, but makes him that much harder to block. So when you're trying to do commander damage, anything that can make him harder to block is awesome. And finally, with the auras, you have Timely Ward, giving Rograkh indestructible. And then you have your equipments. The equipments are the bulk of the deck, and really what it's all about here. Colossus Hammer. Colossus Hammer, +10/+10. The usual drawback being that the equip is 8, but with Ardenn, that is completely irrelevant. It auto-equips. I've been swinging on turn 2 with this guy, and the looks you get are pretty priceless when you're swinging on turn 2 with the Colossus Hammer. Rogue's Gloves, card draw, always important. Sword of Vigilance. Sword of Vigilance. It pumps them up with First Strike, Vigilance, Trample, and Haste. And +2/+0. Vigilance being really important in this deck because you don't have too many other creatures to block with. So that's going to let you attack with Rograkh to get your commander damage through and leave him untapped as a blocker. Whisper Silk Cloak. It can't be blocked. There you go. And it has Shroud, so it's going to be harder to deal with. Blazing Sunsteel, +1/+0 for each opponent. Plus he becomes a little bit less of a target because if they deal damage to him, they're going to take damage. Swiftfoot Boots, Hexproof and Haste. Fire Shrieker, double strike, baby. Blackblade Reforged, giving him +1/+1 for every land you put out. Sword of Feast and Famine. Just with the sheer number of things that this card does, it's just amazing in this deck, in any deck, really. +2/+2, protection from black and green. And if it deals combat damage, you get to untap all your lands. So there you go. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's a great card. Dark Steel Plate, giving Rograkh, again, indestructible, making him harder to deal with. Lightning Greaves. Lightning Greaves is just amazing. I love this card. Who doesn't? Haste, Shroud, and the equip is 0. So even if you can't use Ardenn, you can just equip for nothing. It's a great card. Commander's Plate, giving him +3/+3 and protection from 3 colors. Pretty awesome. Bone Splitter, +2/+0, and it's a pretty cheap equipment, so you can get it out real quick there. You got a Seraphic Greatsword. So not only does it pump up Rograkh, but he should be attacking every turn, and every turn you should be getting a 4/4 Angel when that's out. Mask of Memory, some more card draw. Sun Forger, so you get +4/+0 with that, and it acts as a tutor. It's a really cool card. And finally, for equipments, you have Sword of the Animist, so you're getting more mana out with that, and it pumps them up a little bit. And it's helped thinning out your deck so you get what you need when you're drawing. Manifold Key. Manifold Key is just a quick little utility artifact. The first ability doesn't really come into play here. It untaps another artifact. But the second ability is what you're looking for. 3 tap. Target creature can't be blocked. There you go. Alright, go ahead and show you the artifact ramp that's in the deck. You got Jeweled Lotus. Jeweled Lotus, if you get that on your first turn, you will have Rograkh and Ardenn, both of your commanders out first turn. Mana Crypt. In Mana Crypt, it's basically a free Soul Ring. You do have the downside of 3 damage, but in this deck, it's an aggro deck, so the 3 damage, you're going to either win fast or lose fast. That 3 damage is not really going to come into play here. Soul Ring. Felwar Stone. Felwar Stone's a great card too. Comes in untapped. Gives you pretty much any mana in Commander. Arcane Signet, same deal. Actually even better. You got the Boros Signet. A couple of diamonds. They come in untapped, but they only cost 2. I'm a fan of them, even though they come in untapped. I mean, they come in tapped. Mind Stone comes. It's only 2. Comes in untapped. Gives you a colorless, and in a pinch you can draw a card with it. Prismatic Lens, 2, untapped, and it's a mana fixer, so if you need to use it, go for it. Alright, this is going to be some of your removal and other spells in the deck. You got Slash the Ranks, getting rid of all creatures and planeswalkers except for commanders, which is what matters in this deck. And Lightened Tutor, the bulk of the deck being artifacts and enchantments. You can grab any number of things with that. It just depends on whatever the situation calls for. Teferi's Protection. That's just an amazing card. It has no real drawbacks. It's just going to save you in any number of circumstances. Open the Vaults. Open the Vaults is a late game card. It's great against mill decks especially, because you're going to have tons of stuff in the graveyard at that point, and it's just all going to come back to play. Deflecting Palm. I love cards like this. Not only do you surprise them with your damage being prevented, but then it also smacks them in the face with it. So, love that stuff. Relentless Assault. Pretty much a no-brainer here. It gives you an additional attack phase, so it gives you one more swipe with Rograkh. Jaya's Emulating Inferno. Just some good removal there. Boros Charm. It's a cheap instant, versatile card. 3 effects, any of which are going to be viable in this deck. Wheel of Misfortune. It is nowhere near as good as a Wheel of Fortune, but it's fun. It's a fun card to play. And it should get you some card draw for sure. And finally, for your spells, you got Disrupt Decorum. That's a fun card. You get to sit back that turn and watch everybody attack each other. Alright, and these are going to be your other creatures in the deck. You don't have too many other creatures besides Rograkh, so these are mostly supporting creatures. They have effects that are going to basically help build up Rograkh. You got Rayev. He only costs 2, and he's going to be giving Rograkh double strike, basically. Brass Squire. Brass Squire is a cool little guy. Ardenn auto-equips only during combat, so his ability lets you equip as a fast effect, so that's pretty cool. Wyleth, Soul of Steel. He's an additional creature, if you get him out, that he gives you some card draw. So it's you're relying mostly on Rograkh, but there's no reason why you can't throw some additional equipment onto Wyleth. So you got Kedis. He's a pretty cool little 1/1. He's basically doubling your commander damage. When he does damage, he makes it so that he does it to another opponent as well. Sun Titan. Sun Titan, he's not only a 6/6 vigilance baddie, but he's also going to help you late game by bringing stuff back from your graveyard. Kelith Sunmane, he's a 1/1, basically pumping up your commanders for attacking, giving them +1/+1s. Blood Sworn Steward, you get a 4/4 flyer, that's pretty nice, but also he pumps up both your commanders, giving them +2/+2 and haste. Danatha, Capation Paragon, 2/2, first strike, vigilance, lifelinker. And she also makes your auras and equipment 1 less to cast. Pretty awesome in this deck. Keeper of the Accord. Keeper of the Accord is going to help even the field a little bit when if they get more creatures than you, you get chump blockers. He gives you some 1/1s, and he also evens out your land if they get more lands than you. Tiana, Ship's Caretaker. She's a 3/3 flying first striker who also makes it more difficult to kill your auras and equipments. SRAM, Senior Edificer. He's here for the card draw. Then I got a few baddies here for air support. Avacyn, Angel of Hope, Aurelia, Exemplar of Justice, and Akroma, Angel of Wrath. Avacyn especially being important because she's not only a flying vigilance indestructible creature, she makes all your other permanents indestructible, meaning your commanders and your equipments and auras. Okay, finally on the deck, I've got the land base. The bulk of the lands are actually basics, being that it's only 2 colors. I never really have an issue getting what I need with just basics, but I do have some non-basics that I'll go ahead and show you. Rogue's Passage, Rogue's Passage, I'm in it for the unblockable. Sunhome, Fortress of the Legion. Comes in untapped, gives a colorless, but also for 4 and a tap, going to give Rograkh double strike. This is a pretty cool one, Slayer's Stronghold. Once again, coming in untapped, and it can tap for a colorless, but also for 2 and a tap, it'll give you +2/+0, vigilance, and haste until end of turn. Very versatile card. Command Tower, that's a no-brainer. Exotic Orchard, once again, it's going to give you pretty much any color in a game of Commander. Fabled Passage, it's basically going to be a upgraded Evolving Wilds. I love this card because I also have Evolving Wilds in here. And then you got Temple of Triumph, just a scry land. Does come and play tap, but lets you scry. So then you got Boros Garrison. It's a little slow, but it taps for 2 once you get it rolling. Opal Palace. It's a pretty cool little mana fixer. Alright guys, once again, thanks for checking out my Rograkh, Son of Rohgahh, Ardenn Intrepid Archaeologist Commander deck. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and leave the deck list in the description. I'm going to go ahead, so there's going to be a link to my MTG Goldfish if you want to check that out. And yeah, if you would like, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know what you think about the deck. Is there anything you might change, do differently? Let me know. Once again, thanks for watching. See ya.